way. Mini War Gaming's Beat Matt Batrep.
Welcome back to Beat Matt Batrep, Episode 7, Menoth vs. Khador. This is Round 3, and we're going to jump right into Menoth, Turn 3. Now, in this one, the very first thing he gets to do is hit me back, and he actually did some damage because of one of the special rules that his Jack has, that if I hurt something near him, then he gets to do a Vengeance Strike or something. He's allocating his focus to all his different Jacks so they can do lots of damage. Moves up his squire. Oh, and he uses feet, and his feet drains all my focus, if I had any, which I didn't. And I'm not allowed to generate focus on the next turn. So now his heavy Warjack is moving up and just smashing into the Berserker. And of course, with a couple focus, he'll be able to do lots of damage to this already damaged Berserker. And as you'll see here, he finally will manage to destroy him. So the Berserker is killed and replaced with a heavy Warjack wreck marker. Next, his Redeemer is going to move up and try to do his best to kill the Dracoon. And so he hits him with his first attack, and he does some damage. Or actually, sorry, he misses with the first attack, hits with the second attack, and then rolls some healthy damage. But because the armor of the Dracoon is so high, most of that was negated. But he did push the Dracoon back with the Repulsor Shield. He still has 3 focus, so he's just going to continue to pound on it until he kills it, or if he can kill it. And so continues to strike at it, and you can see he's doing more and more damage. Now the nice thing about a Dracoon is that if he does excess damage to the mounted version, it does not carry over to the dismounted version. So here I think he did like 5 or 6 damage, but he only does 2, and then I replace him with a dismounted version, and it does not carry over. So it's almost like you have to continue doing more damage right there. So he hits again, and does some more damage, and only injures the rider a little bit. So now he's moving up all of his Zealots here, and just trying to engage as much as he can. He's moving this one away from the Dracoon, just so that he's not in melee, but I get a free strike on him and kill him, which is kind of nice to get a free kill right there, because he wants to shoot at him without having any problem. And so Zealots are just moving around and trying to engage whatever they can. Still want to be able to throw the Firebombs as much as they can without hurting themselves. And lucky for them, they're getting nice direct hits with their Firebombs and doing some damage. And it damages the Dracoon a little bit more. They throw another Firebomb, and I believe that's a hit as well. And let's see if it does. Actually, sorry, that scatters a little bit, but I believe it still touches him a little bit, but it does not do any damage, because he does have still pretty good armor of 17. And now the Zealots are just trying to pick off as many of the pikemen as they can. They got a nice high roll there. I think they had to roll like an 11 to kill, and he rolled an 11. So he continues to whittle down my forces on this side. I'm hoping that I'll still be able to push through as much as I possibly can. So let's see if he manages to kill any more here. He does not. Now his Choir move around and buff all of the Jacks on that end. And, or that was the Vassal. The Vassal moved right there. And now they're going actually for as many kills as they can on these Man of Wars, because of course it's really dangerous that all these Man of Wars are moving up. So they're just dropping template weapons into the middle of them. And unfortunately I did not use Shield Wall because they tried to charge last time, and their charge sucked, and unfortunately didn't really do any damage. And so now they're just exposed with the lower armor than what they could have. And you can see here that he's just dealing a lot of damage, and I believe that's just with the first blast. Then he gets to fire it again into the group, gets another direct hit, and he gets to just wound them all again. So he kills the one Man of War, and he attempts to hurt as many others as he can. It looks like he only manages to do a bit of damage. But still, for one light Warjack to do that much damage is pretty good. And even with his gimped arms, the one heavy Warjack still manages to damage the Kodiak a little bit. He pulls the focus from the rack, and it does not explode. And then he does use it. I believe that's when he uses his feet, and that drains all of my focus and stops me from generating focus on my next turn, which obviously is a big deal because I don't get to cast any spells or do anything. So now he's just damaging my pikemen on this side, on the left side, as much as he can. And luckily for me, he's not hitting too well, even though he has all the extra bonuses from his caster and from them being their prey. But he does manage to kill off a couple of the pikemen, which of course he needs to do as much as he can. So in the end, he kills 3 of them there. So at the end of his turn, it's 2-1, because he managed to hold an objective there. And now we're entering into my turn 3. Of course, Vlad does not generate any focus, And a few of my guys are on fire, so we roll to see if that fire continues. A roll of 1 or 2 makes the fire go away, otherwise you get a power 12 hit. And I unfortunately rolled nice and high there, and so my one guy really started to burn badly. And then my pikemen are going to do the best they can. The 3 of them are actually going to gang up on the commander there in hopes of knocking him off the objective. And I roll a double 1, which is of course ridiculous, because they would have killed him outright if they had hit him, because they combined melee attack against him. And my luck was that I rolled double 1, and then the other 2 pikemen did nothing against the skirmishers. Now, against the Zealots, it's a little easier to kill them, so my guys are just pounding on them as hard as they can, just to whittle them all away. And so I managed to kill off a lot of them there, only a couple remain. My Dracoon charges back in, it's not a charge attack, but still. And he rolls a double 1, so that light Warjack is just not dying. And my Man of War turns, and they all charge. And unfortunately, this is where it kind of makes another mistake here, is that it doesn't really count as charging, because they're too far away with that wreck marker in the way. And so I could have just advanced another shield wall to give them as much protection as I can, but, you know, hindsight is 20/20, as they say. So I'm moving in, and I strike against his heavy Warjack, but unfortunately he has the one spell on him that lets him run away after he takes his first hit. So he takes 3 damage, and then runs away, which is very frustrating, because it's hard to do lots of damage to him when he can always leave. Just going after one of the Zealots there, managed to kill him no problem. And then the other one is going after his light Warjack, hoping to do some nice damage. And I believe this one did count as a charge attack, although I can't remember completely. It must not have, because he went over cover. So now my shock troopers, or the demo corps, are moving up to engage as much as they can. And I believe they did a failed charge as well, except for this one right here. You believe he gets a charge attack off, and he hits, and he gets a charge attack. Unfortunately, does not roll very high, rolls 2 2s, and just does not manage to do a lot of damage to the light Warjack, which is very unfortunate. And he gets pushed back by the Warjack shield. Now my Kodiak was going to try to hit twice. He only needs 4s to hit, and if he hits him twice, he can do a smash and grab, where he gets to pick him up and throw him. And so I hit him twice, I do some damage, which is nice, because this Warjack is almost dead. And then I roll really low on my strength. I get to roll 2d6 because I have 2 hands, and he only gets to roll 1d6. And I had a strength of 12, and he had a strength of 11, and I rolled really crappy. He rolled really high, and I did not even get to throw him, which is very frustrating there. So at the end of round 3 here, the score is tied 2-2. As we look at the field here, you can see I'm pushing through the right flank, but unfortunately that light Warjack is just not dying, no matter how much I put against it, which is just ridiculous for a light Warjack. In the middle here, my Man of Wars are moving up and engaging, but they're just not doing a lot of damage. Even the Kodiak was not able to finish off that Warjack, which he should have been able to do. He should have been able to throw it, kill it by throwing it, and damage something else. And my pikemen just did nothing, and they should have cleared out at least a couple guys there. So that is the end of round 3. It's just you have to stay tuned for round 4 to see what's going to happen, but you can see already that it's starting to crumble on the Khador side. Will I be able to push through? You'll find out in the next turn.
Visit miniwargaming.com to see our videos 1 month early.